All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Practice Better Summit. We are so happy to be here with all of you. Yesterday was incredible. We hope you left feeling inspired. And today is packed with even more amazing sessions, speakers that are sure to inspire you and provide tangible tools to ignite your practice growth. So just a quick reminder before we dive into our first session that all of our summit sessions are being recorded. You'll get the replays afterwards, so not to worry. And don't forget to join us in our dedicated summit space in the community for continued conversation, connection, and resources as well. So I'm going to bring on our session moderator, Danielle, come on stage, and we're going to kick it off with our first session on growth secrets from thriving practices, where Danielle Greco will chat with 3 incredibly successful Practice Better customers, Michaela Riley, Irina Frankel, and Sarah Gibson. So before we kick things off and bring them on stage, I want to introduce Danielle Greco, your wonderful moderator. So Danielle is passionate about solving real human problems in an intuitive, human-centered way. She is a senior UX researcher here at Practice Better, where she focuses on helping teams deeply understand the needs of health and wellness practitioners and patients, and helps them unlock how to best meet those needs in a seamless and delightful way. With a decade of experience in product and design research, she has held previous roles at HubSpot, leading research for HubSpot CRM and growth product teams, the telehealth company Ro as their founding UX researcher, and TripAdvisor, amongst others. So I'll hand it over to you, Danielle, to kick off the session, bring on our practitioners, and dive right in.
Thank you so much, Jen, for your wonderful introduction. And hello, everyone. As Jen mentioned, I'm Danielle Greco, and I'm so excited to be here today, kicking off day 2 of Practice Better Summit. In this session, we'll be diving in to learn more from real-life examples and success stories from thriving practices that showcase innovative approaches to health and wellness. And so without further ado, it is my honor to introduce you to our incredible panelists, and I would now like to invite them to the stage. Michaela Riley, FDNP, founder of Be Balanced; Irina Frankel, MSN FNP BC, Director of Retreat Care Group; Sarah Gibson, founder and CEO of Vitality Health Matrix. And thank you all for being here today. Before we dive in, I would like to just share a little bit more of your background, so folks have a sense of who we're speaking with. So Michaela is a board-certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and the founder of Be Balanced. She specializes in root cause healing, hormones, gut health, thyroid issues, PCOS, and autoimmunity. Through her one-on-one coaching services and membership community, Michaela has helped thousands of women worldwide to understand and eliminate their symptoms. She was trained by top health educators to utilize functional nutrition and lab testing to support her clients. Michaela has a deep understanding of alternative and integrative medicine and over 7 years of experience in the health and wellness field. Welcome, Michaela, and thank you so much for joining us. We also have on stage Sarah Gibson. Sarah is the founder and CEO of Vitality Health Matrix. With a passion of empowering women over 40 to reclaim their health and vitality, Sarah has dedicated her career to helping individuals achieve their wellness goals. As a board-certified physician associate with over 20 years of experience, with additional training in functional medicine and lifestyle medicine, she has designed programs that practice whole person medicine. Using an approach that combines both traditional and functional medicine has allowed her to help thousands of women not only shed unwanted pounds, but also regain control of their hormonal balance. Her mission is to help women understand what is happening in their bodies as they go through their perimenopause and menopause, and then empower them to take control of their symptoms and the number on the scale. This is such an inspiring group, and I'm so honored to be speaking with both of you here today. So thank you so much for joining us. To kick things off, we'd love to, learn more about your journey in building your practice, and specifically would love for you to share perhaps a real life challenge or example that you faced in scaling your practice and the innovative approach that you've used to overcome it. Sarah, I'd love it if you could kick things off and share a little bit from your experience.
Yeah, well, first I want to say thank you so much for having me. And Michaela, it's awesome to connect with you as well, because I think we both serve women in very similar ways, which is amazing. And, when I started a few years ago, I thought I was just going to be helping 2 or 3 women a month balance their hormones, lose weight. But I realized very quickly that there's a huge gap in traditional medicine for women going through perimenopause. So most of the women that I help, never had any issues with, losing weight or being able to manage the scale until they started having hormone changes. And so I think very quickly the practice grew. And one of the best things that I did was get out of my own way, quite honestly. I read the book Traction, which helps entrepreneurs set up their business in a way that is like a structure and gives meaning behind it, especially as you scale. Apologies, there's a police officer going by my building. Sorry, guys. um, I'm in my office. But anyway, I think I was very afraid to bring on additional practitioners, which now I have a team of 40 people. And so I was very afraid to bring people on because I didn't want to lose the integrity of the program. And I didn't want women to feel like they were just pushed aside or became a number as we grew. And so the two biggest things that were really helpful were, number one, I actually had the whole team join in on this and create our core values. So we went through our 6 core values, and we use those values for every decision that we make in the company, whether it's bringing somebody on board, whether it's the way we interact with each other, and whether it's the way that we help our clients as well and show up. So that's been really helpful, just to have those core values to anchor us. And also, like I said, getting out of my own way. Like, I'm not an expert in everything business, health, and wellness. And so just partnering with people like, Michaela, I'm not partnered with Michaela, but people like her in her space that are, better at nutrition than I am, better at running ads than I am, and those types of things, but making sure that they're aligned with our soul mission, which is helping women, feel like themselves again and kind of reclaim their health. So those are probably the biggest things that have helped. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And I think that's, the importance of wanting to protect the integrity of your business as you scale, I think is like such an important call out. And I really loved the collaborative way of bringing everyone together and really feeling like everyone's on board and aligned with those values. I think I'm sure we'll see the impact, for your clients and your patients that you're seeing, and they'll feel that every step of the way. Michaela, would love to hear from you and some of the challenges maybe you've experienced and how you thought about overcoming them.
Yeah, for sure. Super excited to be here too. Sarah, it's amazing to learn different tidbits from you, but my business grew very quickly. I was kind of like Sarah. I thought I was just going to help a few clients here and there to kind of help pay for my own, wellness tools and things that I wanted to do, but it quickly grew into a full-time business. And I think it grows faster than you probably would expect. And being prepared, I think, is one of the best things that you can do, but also having a lot of passion in whatever you're doing and just dedication also to your business. The structure that you have is so important, especially when it starts growing very quickly. Making sure that you have specific systems in place so that the integrity of the client experience is ultimately something that's going to be at the core of your business, no matter how big you grow. And I think that's one thing too that I made sure to keep track of, is like, how much time am I spending doing X, Y, and Z, and making sure that I'm not getting stretched too thin. That happens very quickly. And that's something that the client doesn't want and you don't want yourself. So paying attention to your boundaries is really important, not only for your cortisol levels, but for the success of your business too. So yeah, that's something that I experienced very quickly, and being able to add on more people to my team, but also do it in a very smart way. I work very collaboratively with my practitioners, and I think that's something that's really important to me. Client experience is very essential for the success of your business, and not stretching yourself too thin and not growing too big to the point where that integrity is lost, which is really important. But ultimately, not thinking you know everything too is really important when you're trying to grow your business. I think Sarah kind of mentioned this too. We're all not good at everything. So trying to be a sponge and just learn as much information as you possibly can is really important. Diving into as many different courses that there are on functional medicine, or just learning things about business, and also not being afraid to fail, because that is 110% going to happen. And if you're not willing to at least fall on your face once or twice, this line of work might not be for you. So definitely don't be afraid to take risks, and think of new things too. I think in this world of social media, and I'm sure we'll get into that later, but everyone has their own original story, and really leaning into that is so important, because somebody's going to relate to your story, somebody else is going to relate to mine, and I think that that's really important to lean into.
Yeah. Thank you both so much. I think, highlighting the importance of the integrity as you scale, and, just having those shared values, and thinking about where is best for you to prioritize your time and focus, while realizing maybe, you don't want to, not experts maybe in every particular thing. So thinking about who is really, who can best focus on what, I think are all really important insights. And your practice growth has been so impressive. And there was likely, a series of things that have allowed you to be successful. But I'm curious if you could narrow in on maybe one thing that you would attribute to your growth. What would that one thing be? And Michaela, maybe I'll have you start.
Yeah, I think it bounces off what I just ended with. My story and how I got involved in functional health to begin with resonates with so many people, and I think it's important. Once I started telling story, and can you start? Oh no. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Am I back
all
on?
Good. You're back on. Can hear you.
Okay.
There's bound to be one
there's
technology.
an internet hiccup.
If you need a moment
course.
too, we can also go ahead.
I'll go ahead and I'll finish, and hopefully there's no issues. But leaning into my story, sharing the hard experiences that I had with my health, I think is 100%, the success of my business, and ultimately client experience. Really taking that seriously, I think, has been at the core of the ability for my business to grow. I also worked at other practices too, so I learned a lot of what to do and what not to do, and that was really a successful piece of my business and how I've been able to grow. But I think sharing my story and just being very authentic is very crucial for the success of my business.
Absolutely. That authenticity, I think, has very much shown through and is so important. So thank you for diving into that a little bit deeper. Sarah, how about on your end?
Yeah, I think, echoing a couple of things that Michaela said, just falling fast, not being afraid to fail, not having everything perfect before you launch things. And then also just authenticity, really caring and putting yourself out there. But I think probably one of the things that allowed me to scale more quickly was getting feedback from my clients, like, what would you like more of? What can I improve? What do you think would have made this process easier for you? And then like pre-selling and launching programs that actually like deliver that without having it perfectly worked out in the back end. And so I think that piece of it allowed them to feel like they were part of the journey, right? Like just being honest with them, like, hey, you're not losing the weight as quickly. Like, what do you feel like is going on? What's missing? What can I help you with? And just really, really being intentional with them. So, just building that trust and being a real human and not just pretending that you know everything all the time and you know better than them. Like everyone has their own journey, which is why even with scaling, like I still really put so much emphasis on one-on-one care for all of my patients. So.
I love that. And even just how feedback and having them be part of the journey is also part of the client experience, and seeing how that's kind of manifested for both of you in scaling your practice. In that vein, talking about scaling your practice, I know you mentioned having various systems that you've put in place. I'm curious, what role has technology played in your practice's growth? And Sarah, we'll have you start.
I mean, I feel like technology is really the core and the crux of my business because I practice telemedicine. So, if I didn't have technology, I don't do any in-person things or very little in-person things right now. So, I think just having that availability to reach more people has been fantastic. But recently, I've put some things in place on the front end with AI and having just some automations in place, more for like the front end calendar management for some of my marketing and sales people, has just been really exciting to kind of see how some of those things help. Not that I'm using AI to replace myself in videos, but like it speeds up video editing. It helps with, if someone replies with a keyword to send them a free resource, just some of those things on the front end that I can then use the people that are my employees then to fill in the gaps and monitor that situation. So it's scary and exciting, but again, this is me getting out of my own way and using people who are experts in this and can really help to fine tune that process. So that's kind of been fun.
I love it. And I love the emphasis on getting out of your comfort zone. And obviously, there's been a lot of attention on AI recently, and it can be scary, but also exciting. So love to see that you're diving in head first. Michaela, would love to hear on your end, just the role of technology and if there's any specific tools or platforms that have been particularly helpful for you in scaling your practice.
I mean, practice better. I think it goes without saying, having the organization ability with protocols and the amount of detail that I include in client plans, having that very easy to follow and accessible from an app is super important because we all live a very fast-paced Amazon Prime lifestyle. So being able to have all the tools that you need in one place is really important, especially when you get a lot of individuals that come in that are really overwhelmed with like following this whole entire health and wellness protocol. Being able to break it down, simplify it for them, and have them communicate in one place, I think is important. Using AI when it makes sense, I think has been really helpful for spelling out different things, using it in social media in certain instances, but also, cross-checking. AI also makes mistakes. So just being aware of those things. But no, I think obviously we live in a very technology-based environment. So using all the automations and tools possible, I think is really important. But I think one thing that I always keep in the back of my mind too is like, how can I simplify X, Y, or Z just to make it like, I think practitioner to practitioner, obviously we talk about hormones and gut health and all this stuff, and it for the average person becomes a little bit overwhelming. So how can you simplify that communication to get them the answers that they're looking for and the support that they need, but also not like getting too wordy or overwhelming with it all. And using Practice Better and Canva for different PDF, templates and formats, I think is really, really helpful and useful. But also, yeah, just not getting too overwhelmed with like doing too many things. I think that would be the biggest like piece of advice I could give, is trying to keep all the things and tools that you use in like one place, so your clients aren't having to like do their workouts in a separate thing, or do their nutrition in another thing, and it just becomes like a little bit overwhelming. So just trying to streamline things and keep it as simple and straightforward as possible is really important. And then also putting yourself in their shoes, like think about their experience, like they're coming in with all these symptoms. They just want to know like what's wrong, how are we going to fix it type thing. So, constantly communicating in that way is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's already overwhelming coming in and trying to seek help in the first place, or starting and growing your own practice from the practitioner lens. Simplifying and streamlining, particularly in these moments, and for the sake of your clients, is huge. I'm curious. I know you both kind of talked about AI a little bit. Any favorite AI tools that you have used recently or that you are currently using?
I like using ChatGPT here and there for certain things, structuring out, and then Zoom, like meeting summary AI, the summaries that they provide for that is really helpful. I don't know if it's considered AI, but mini chats for social media, really, really helpful if you're a social media person. I think being a little bit careful with how much you do of that too. Social media is obviously like a huge driver for traffic, but creating like a really good relationship with your audience is super important, and not just like constantly trying to sell them something is really something that I've used in my business, of like how people I think are more invested in what you're doing if they're not constantly being sold something. And telling them your story, just like explaining and educating more, giving them like little tidbits here and there. But mini chats overall, back to your question, is a good way to kind of do that.
Awesome. And then Sarah, anything on your end that maybe Michaela hasn't mentioned, but that you found particularly helpful on the AI front?
Yeah, I use it more on like on the front end for like editing tools. So like Veed has an AI like that'll just go in and automatically edit out your ums and things like that. So that makes it much quicker. That's Veed. I like Midjourney, obviously ChatGPT, but Midjourney is great if you just want some graphics and some overlay. That's a nice thing to put together. I do like ManyChat. I think that's great. And then there are a couple of other things that my social media team uses that I honestly don't even know specifically what they use, but those are kind of the main ones. I think, Michaela hit it on the head. Like I use it more for streamlining the editing process, and on the front end for like graphics, like in Canva, you can use AI just to create PowerPoint presentations. And I like training ChatGPT so that some of my prompts or Facebook ad copy or something like that just gives me more things to go off of. And then I go in and put my personal touch on it. So those are the biggest ways that I use it currently. I don't use it as much for client interaction other than just to deliver free resources. And I always make sure, like if they're replying or trying to get into some type of conversation in the DMs, if it's a bot that's replying or if it's my setters or something like that that are replying, I actually make sure that they recognize themselves, that it's not people pretending to be me, right? Hey, this is, Lorado from Sarah's team or whatever it is. So, hey, this is just an automated reply, but someone will be with you. Those types of things, I think, just continue to build trust and with the audience. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Those both were really great. Just provided like some specific examples and even potentially some new tools for folks to think about exploring further in terms of how they can better scale their time. I know you both mentioned, from thinking about like launching like programs and memberships to not just selling something all the time and thinking about how you're also providing value or educating, particularly in the lens of building your presence in social media. This question is a little bit more focused on acquisition and thinking about how you actually find new clients. I'd love for maybe Sarah will have you start to talk through a unique marketing strategy or referral system that you've used to attract new clients and build a strong client base.
I think I honestly don't have a great answer for that in terms of like a quick, easy strategy. I kind of view it the same way as an investment portfolio in that I diversify, right? So capturing, at the end, capturing information. So we do a celebration call to capture testimonials from people, Google reviews. And then if, they have any referral, like anyone they'd like to refer, we give them some type of a gift if someone signs up. So that piece of it. And then doing things like in the community, like just providing a lot of value. So running, quarterly detox challenges together or a 28-day fitness routine from couch to just starting something in your living room, answering questions, free resources, going live just with members of the team, just so that people can feel like they're engaged and involved. So I think back-end memberships, low ticket courses, now that we've done this for many years and know what works for people and what they're looking for. Just, I have high ticket programs as well. So just providing an option for people who maybe aren't ready to invest in a high end, high touch program. And just Michaela mentioned, just on social media, just putting things out there, being authentic, inviting people just to, communicate and just answering comments. One strategy that's worked well is, especially on TikTok, answering any questions or comments that come through with a video and just engaging that way. I think those are probably the best ways that the company is able to make money and, have some of it be recurring revenue, referral base, providing a lot of value. So those are kind of the biggest things we focus on.
Thank you. I know we are approaching the end, so Michaela would love to hear from you on this front before we turn it over to some audience questions. So again, I'll just repeat, knowing client acquisition is key to any growing practice. Are there any particular, unique marketing strategies or referral systems that you've used to attract new clients and build a strong client base?
Yeah, similar to Sarah, I don't have a blueprint of exactly how I've been able to do it, but I will say the authentic story that I have and unique story that I have with how I got involved in functional medicine, I think is ultimately the only thing that I really try to lean into and describe to help relate to women that are struggling with the similar things. And I think being very unique in the content that I create, I personally run my social media, and a lot of the ideas and ways that I've been able to grow my social media is through my own ideas and not copying other creators, which is very easy to do. And I really do encourage that. I think people see right through, some of the stuff that constantly goes around. And I think it is easy to do that, but that would be one really good piece of advice, I would say, if you're just starting your social media or how do I grow my Instagram, really lean into your personal experience, because I can guarantee you there's thousands of people that relate to your specific experience that's going to be a lot different than mine. And just share that. A lot of the things that you don't want to share on social media are what going to give you and attract you more clients. And so, yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice. And when you're just starting your business too, not being too big on trying to make all the money in the world. You really want to value the few clients that you work with and get a really good testimony and share that. And that's ultimately word of mouth is going to get you very, very far, and really just starting small, focusing on the client experience and getting their testimony and getting them to share their story is going to be the best kind of blueprint that you can follow.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. I know we are actually just about at time and ready to hop over to the next session, but thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks both.